Folks, I think we're going to get our program underway. I know some of you just were served a few minutes ago. Continue to eat. Please continue to enjoy your desserts on the table. And what a terrific meal put on by our great friends here at the DoubleTree. We thank them so much for what they've done for our award ceremony for now more than a decade. We have had this here, so let's hear it for the folks here at the DoubleTree. I'm going to start by introducing our head table to you, and then some folks that are in the audience that I do want to recognize tonight. I'm going to start on my left, your right, far end of the table. Delighted to have with us Ben Gray, the Omaha City Council President. Ben, thank you for being here tonight. Next to Ben is Claire Duda, the Douglas County Commissioner. Claire, thank you so much. Delighted to have Nebraska running backs coach Ryan Held in attendance here tonight as well. 2 straight years for Ryan to be with us. The winner of our Fisher Native Son Award winner, Husker Mick Stoltenberg. Our Chamberlain Award winner, Stanley Morgan Jr. Nebraska Athletic Director Bill Moose. I don't think those were boos. I don't think, Bill. I think you're okay. Next to him, Husker head football coach Scott Frost. Thrilled to have Josh Chapman. He's the assistant strength and conditioning coach for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And our Outland Trophy winner for 2018, Quinnen Williams. I will go to my right, your left. You heard from Father Gernurk. It's great to have him here with us again tonight. He's been here more than a decade with us. Father, great to have you with us this evening. The Downtown Rotary has been a big part of this Outland Trophy dinner, now in its 22nd year, and we're thrilled to have their past Rotary president, Tim Cavanaugh, here. Tim, thank you. Gentleman who's fairly new to Omaha, the new Omaha World Herald president, Todd Sears, in attendance with us tonight. The executive director of the Football Writers Association. They're the ones who vote for the Outland Trophy every year, Steve Richardson. The winner of the 2012 Outland Trophy, Barrett Jones from Alabama. I kidded Barrett earlier. I said, we really love your parents. You could have brought them too, but they stayed behind. We certainly had a great time with Barrett a few years ago. Senior Associate Athletic Director at Boston College University, Barry Gallup, is with us tonight. The winner of the 1985 Outland Trophy, Mike Ruth. We are so thrilled that Werner Enterprises is now the sponsor of our dinner here in Omaha, and their president and CEO, Derek Leathers. The winner of our Tom Osborne Legacy Award winner, current head football coach at the University of Ohio, Frank Solich. Good night, everybody. Not sure we can top that. And seated next to him, 3-time national champion head football coach Tom Osborne. We are honored to have some special guests with us tonight. 1972 Heisman Trophy winner, Johnny the Jet Rogers. Johnny? We have some past Outland Trophy winners, besides the ones that we introduced to you here at the head table. Larry Jacobson, the winner of the 1971 Outland Trophy. Larry? The only two-time winner of the Outland Trophy, 1981 and 1982, Dave Remington. Dave, great to have you back. And the winner of the 1994 Outland Trophy, Zach Wiegert, here with us tonight as well. Zach, great to have you. I mentioned that the Football Writers Association, 1,200 members across the country, men and women, several of them here in the Omaha area, Tom Chattel and Lee Barfnick, to name two of them, vote on the Outland Trophy every year. We're delighted to have with us tonight the executive director from the Football Writers Association, Steve Richardson. Steve?
I just wanted to say congratulations to the Mancuso family for, again, putting together a very, very good banquet. We appreciate their efforts. And I also, this year, we have a presenting sponsor, the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases, and I want to recognize Marla Dalton as the executive director of the organization. They're the presenting sponsor of the Outland Trophy, as you probably see with the logo, and they do a wonderful job of fighting flu and have been a great partner this year. We thank you very much, NFID. Thank you.
Mentioned that we have a sponsor locally, and Werner Enterprises is one of the great companies here in the Omaha metro area. Turn your attention, please, to the screen and watch a little piece put together about Werner Enterprises. We'd like to welcome to the podium now Derek Leathers, the president and CEO of Werner Enterprises. Derek.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. First off, Quinnen, on behalf of Werner and all of our folks, we want to congratulate you. We are happy to do this. We're proud to be a part of this. Outland has been in Omaha for 22 years. We want to do our part to make sure it stays here a lot longer. It's an honor to be associated to it. The only comment I will make about the Outland, its relevance to Werner is a shameless plug for the professional drivers out there every day. They're the unsung heroes of America, delivering freight to each and every one of us every day and making our lives just a little bit better. I think there's a lot of parallels with the linemen that clear the road for the guys that get the photos and the autographs a little bit later. I was an offensive lineman myself in college, and this is clearly the closest I would ever get to an Outland Trophy. So I got that going for me. But in all seriousness, congratulations to all the winners and to Mike to come back and get his award. And then lastly, I want to put in a plug because I'm also from Gretna, Nebraska. So for Mick, not only native son of Nebraska, but all of Gretna is proud of you. Congratulations.
Mentioned that Todd Sears is new to the Omaha market. Omaha World Herald has been a great supporter of our event here for the last 22 years. So at this time, I'd like to have Todd Sears come forward. Todd?
Thank you all for being here tonight. Omaha World Herald's been a sponsor of this since inception, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Mancuso family for putting this on. We're thrilled to be a part of this. We're thrilled everyone made the drive to Omaha. We hope you have a great time while you're here. Omaha's a great city. And As was mentioned, the Football Writers Association of America puts this on. We're proud to have some members on our team. We think they do a fantastic job each and every day, and I hope many of you read them, just like I do. And finally, as a Nebraska kid coming back home, this is pretty cool to be up here with people that I've watched for a long time. So thank you very much for being here.
Todd and Steve mentioned the Mancuso family, who's done a great job. The Omaha Sports Commission puts this on, and I can tell you there are hours and hours of meetings and setups to get this thing put together every January for us to enjoy and honor the best linemen in the country every year, and also our Husker Senior Award winners. And the city of Omaha has done such a tremendous job, and Douglas County as well. At this time, I'd like to call Claire Duda to come up and say a few words, the Douglas County Commissioner. Claire?
Thank you. On behalf of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners, welcome. On behalf of the great people of Douglas County, welcome. Thank you for coming. It's a party. This is really neat. The Mancusos, the Greater Omaha Sports Commission have already been thanked, but man, if I had a hat on, I would absolutely be tipping it to all of you. This is so impressive. Quinnen, congratulations to you. Thanks for letting us share in the excitement of all of this, and to all of the award recipients. This is so wonderful to get to share in this moment. So you didn't come to see me, I'll get out of your way. Thank you all for coming.
City of Omaha is proud of their love of amateur sports. Obviously, this event here, multiple events that have been hosted at the CHI Center, and then every year the College World Series now at TD Ameritrade Park. And here from the city, Ben Gray, Omaha City Council President. Ben?
Thank you. Thank you all. I almost needed a couple of linemen to get out of the chair here to get up here and see you all. But again, from the city of Omaha, thank you all for being here today. Thank you all for being a part of this massive and great effort that seems, as I've been here several times, to grow every year. I think we're getting ready to outgrow this place, or we're going to have to expand or something like that. But this has really been and continues to be a great program. Welcome, Quinnen, and thanks again for allowing us to share in your celebration. Thanks to all, and congratulations to all the award winners, everyone who is involved. Welcome home, Frank Solich, for a little bit, and just thank you all. Thanks again from the city of Omaha, and thanks to the Football Writers Association of America for continuing to have Omaha be the host site for this Outland Trophy program. It's well worth it, and this city turns out, as we always do, for our team. Thank you all.
We just need Ben not to call the fire marshal for another hour. This is the biggest crowd we put in this room, and so and it's a great group to have here tonight. The University of Nebraska finished up their football season back in November. Every year we honor some of the senior award winners, and we have a couple of them with us here tonight. One could not be here tonight, but we're going to start with the Tom Novak Award. And before we get into that, with the Novak family, please wave. You're usually over to my right. I think you're over here again tonight. We do have some members of the Novak family. Yeah, great to have you guys here with us. Thank you so much for being part of our evening again. And a little bit later on, we're going to present the Cletus Fisher Native Son Award, and Cletus Fisher obviously has some family members here as well tonight. Those folks would wave and be honored. We're glad to have you guys here with us as well. So without further ado, we'll honor our Nebraska Senior Award winners. Take a look at the screens.
Tom Novak was the first Nebraska player to ever have his jersey retired. Novak is still regarded as one of the best and toughest to ever wear the Husker uniform. A fullback, center, and linebacker, the Omaha native remains Nebraska's only four-time all-conference selection. Novak's number 60 was retired following the 1949 season and is one of only two Husker jerseys permanently retired to date. Courage and determination were traits of All-American Tom Novak. Each season, a trophy honoring these characteristics is given in Novak's name to a senior who best exemplifies these traits. The 2018 recipient of the Tom Novak Trophy is senior running back Devine Ozigbo. Saxe, Texas native Devine Ozigbo enjoyed his best season in his final year as a Husker in 2018, earning third-team All-Big Ten honors from the conference media and honorable mention accolades from the league's coaches. Ozigbo was Nebraska's leading rusher, gaining 1,082 yards with 12 rushing touchdowns. Ozigbo became the first Husker since Amir Abdullah in 2014 to rush for over 1,000 yards. And Ozigbo's 1,082 rushing yards as a senior nearly matched the total from his first 3 seasons combined. Ozigbo averaged 90.2 rushing yards per game in 2018, and he also set career highs with 23 receptions for 203 receiving yards. Ozigbo had at least 6 carries in all 12 games, but he emerged as Nebraska's #1 back against Purdue, the first of his 9 straight starts to end the season. In his 9 games as a starter, Ozigbo averaged 110.2 rushing yards per game and 7.9 yards per carry while scoring 11 rushing touchdowns. He ran for more than 150 yards 4 times in his 9 games as a starter and had 5 100-yard rushing games. Ozigbo ended the regular season ranked 12th nationally in rushing yards per carry and 30th nationally in rushing yards. The 2018 Tom Novak Trophy recipient, Devine Ozigbo.
Unfortunately, Devine could not be here tonight. He's training, getting ready for an all-star game here in a week or so, but to accept on his behalf is Husker running backs coach Ryan Held, along with head coach Scott Frost. They've both come forward. You want to hand it to him, and they'll take your picture, I think. And now for our next Husker.
Cletus Fisher belongs to a very select group of individuals who both played and coached for the Nebraska football team. One of 4 Fisher brothers from St. Edward, Nebraska to play for NU. Cletus was a halfback and a safety from 1945 through 1948. He went on to coach the offensive line for the Huskers from 1959 through 1985. The Cletus Fisher Native Son Award is voted on by the Husker coaching staff and is awarded to the senior who best exemplifies good work ethic, competitiveness, leadership, pride, and a love of Nebraska. The 2018 recipient of the Cletus Fisher Native Son Award is senior defensive lineman Mick Stoltenberg. Gretna native Mick Stoltenberg battled through injuries to appear in 8 games with 4 starts as a senior captain for the Huskers in 2018. Although the injuries limited his production to just 9 tackles in 2018, Stoltenberg's leadership helped Nebraska allow 2 fewer touchdowns per game over the second half of the season compared to the first 6 games of the year. Stoltenberg also had a pair of tackle for losses and 1 sack and intercepted the only pass of his career in 2018. Bush gets hit and he throws it away and picked off Mick Stoltenberg with the interception. Bush just flung it up in the air and Mick Stoltenberg grabbed it for the INT. The team captain was honored off the field throughout his career. He was a 3-time academic All-Big Ten selection and was a Big Ten Distinguished Scholar in 2018. Stoltenberg was honored with the Sam Foltz Hero 27 Leadership Award in 2018 and was on both the Brooke Behringer and Tom Osborne citizenship teams in both 2017 and 2018. The 2018 Cletus Fisher Native Son Award winner, Mick Stoltenberg.
right, first off, just want to say thanks to the Fisher family. I know a number of them are here in attendance tonight. It was good to talk to them, get to know them a little bit beforehand, hoping to be able to visit with them more in the future. Just also want to say thanks to my family and friends. 17 of them are here tonight. Got to be some kind of record or something. We're filling out a few tables. Also got to say thanks to Coach Frost, Coach Held, and the rest of the Husker staff. Had a great experience with my senior season with this staff, and also got to say thanks to the rest of my senior class and the rest of the Husker football team. This award goes to those guys. Been through a lot with those guys, and it's been a hell of a run. Lastly, but not least, definitely want to say thanks to all the Husker fans. Throughout the last 5 years, there's been a lot of stuff changing around here. Nothing really stayed the same or consistent throughout. But the one thing that did stay the same was, Husker Nation and that feeling of family you get here in Nebraska. So appreciate it, and go Big Red.
In 1915, Guy Chamberlain became Nebraska's first consensus All-American. Chamberlain is also one of the very few to be named to both the College Football and National Football League Hall of Fames. The legendary Chamberlain became the premier end of the NFL in the 1920s and was a player or coach on 4 NFL championship teams. Each year, the Guy Chamberlain Award is given to a senior who uses his qualities and dedication for the betterment of the Nebraska football team. The 2018 recipient of the Guy Chamberlain Trophy is senior wide receiver Stanley Morgan Jr. Stanley Morgan capped an outstanding career by becoming Nebraska's all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards during a senior season, which saw him become the first 1,000-yard receiver in Husker history. The team captain from New Orleans led Nebraska with a school record 1,004 receiving yards in 2018, eclipsing his own school record of 986 receiving yards from his junior season. Morgan was one of only 28 FBS players to have 1,000 receiving yards during the regular season. A second-team All-Big Ten selection, Morgan also caught a career-high 70 passes as a senior, becoming the first Husker wide receiver to have 70 catches in a season. He averaged more than 14 yards per reception and caught 7 touchdown passes. Morgan concluded his career with 7 catches for 81 yards at Iowa. The 81 receiving yards allowed him to post Nebraska's first 1,000-yard receiving season and gave him a school record 2,747 career receiving yards. Washington in the backfield. Play action look, sets, throws, pass caught Stanley Morgan. He's across the midfield mark and tackled finally at the 49 of Iowa. And with that catch, Stanley Morgan becomes the first Husker in history to have a 1,000-yard receiving season.
The Iowa game also extended Morgan's streak to catching a pass in 38 consecutive games, breaking his tie with 1972 Heisman Trophy winner Johnny Rodgers for the longest streak in school history. The 2018 Guy Chamberlain Award winner, Stanley Morgan Jr.
How you guys doing tonight? I would like to thank the state of Nebraska, my family. My grandpa and my grandma couldn't be here tonight. I would like to thank my beautiful mother over there for being with me every step of the way. I'd like to thank my coaches, my teammates. This couldn't be done without you guys. I love you guys, and I love Nebraska. Go Big Red.
Thank you. I just want to say thanks to these three young men. Devine Ozigbo, what he struggled through to accomplish what he accomplished this year was special. Mick's leadership was vital for our team this year to keep us on the right track and get us pointed in the right direction. Stanley's one of the most fun people I've ever been around on a football field. Just came to work every day with a smile on his face and loved the game. These guys are kind of the cream of the crop of the seniors that I'm going to remember and be thankful for, too, for a long time. So I want to thank you guys. Only other thing I want to add is, Coach Solich, it's so great to have you back. I think the reception that you just received is indicative of how the people in Nebraska feel about you and how we feel about you. You meant so much to me and all the other players that I played with, and want you to know, as long as I'm around and we're all around, you're not just welcome here, you and Pam, but we want you to feel like a part of the Nebraska family and what we're doing here. So really appreciate you being back. Thank you.
A few years ago, we decided to start a Tom Osborne Legacy Award, one to recognize the contributions that Coach has made to the sport of college football, but then to others around the country. We've had Barry Switzer, we've had Bobby Bowden, and today we're delighted to welcome back one of our own. Please watch the screens.
Few, if any, coaches have impacted college football more than Tom Osborne when it comes to producing great linemen. His legacy of building a strong foundation in the trenches, whether it was an offense or defense, endure to this day. Individuals considered for the Tom Osborne Legacy Award are those who played, coached, or made extraordinary contributions to the interior line of college football. The Tom Osborne Legacy Award is awarded to an individual who exhibited the characteristics of integrity, sportsmanship, and fair play demonstrated by Coach Osborne.
Frank Solich's career as a football player and coach spans over 6 decades. He was a member of Bob Devaney's first recruiting class in 1962. As a fullback at the University of Nebraska in the mid-1960s, Solich was a standout. He was the team captain and an All-Big 8 conference selection. He was known for his aggressive style of running, which earned him the nickname Fearless Frankie.
Hands it off to Frankie Solich, breaks over right tackle across the 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Could go all the way. Down the sidelines to 30, 25, 20. Cuts back in, 10, 5. Touchdown on the first play from scrimmage. Frank Solich.
After his playing career ended, Solich found his passion on the sidelines and got into coaching. He spent 13 years as a high school coach in Nebraska and joined the Husker coaching staff as an assistant in 1979. Over the next 18 years at his alma mater, Solich serves as the head freshman coach, running backs coach, and as assistant head coach. In his final game as a Nebraska assistant, Solich helped the Huskers to a third national championship in 4 years with a resounding 42-17 win over Tennessee in the Orange Bowl. Hall of Fame coach Tom Osborne chose Solich as his successor at Nebraska.
I'll do the very best that I can with each and every game. That's been the philosophy of this program that Coach has instituted, to take them one game at a time, and I will certainly do that, and I'll take it one season at a time. I just hope that that the effort that I put forth will be enough to help this program continue with the success that it's had.
In his 6 seasons as the Huskers head coach, Solich excelled with a 58-19 record, including the 1999 Big 12 Conference Championship, where Nebraska finished number 3 in the polls with a win in the Fiesta Bowl, and was named the Home Depot National College Coach of the Year. Solich also coached Nebraska to the Cove Big 12 North title in 2001 behind Heisman Trophy winner Eric Crouch, and earned the Huskers a spot in the national championship game. In 2005, Solich sought a new challenge when he was hired as the head football coach at Ohio University, where he changed the culture and brought a winning program to Athens. Solich and his staff had a vision.
When I first arrived here, I wanted to start to raised the program to a level where they could win with some consistency, and they had struggled with that prior for some time. You know, it appeared to me like there were a lot of things in place to help you reach a goal like that.
Throughout his career in Athens, the Bobcats have won consistently with 9 bowl appearances and 4 MAC East Division titles. Coach Solich's passion for teaching the game of football to young men continues today. The Outland Trophy Committee welcomes back to Nebraska Frank Solich, this year's recipient of the Tom Osborne Legacy Award.
And now let's welcome Tom Osborne.
Thank you, Greg. You know, we've had some good coaches here. Barry Switzer. Some people weren't that excited about Barry, but I was. And Bobby Bowden. And but there's no one that I've looked forward to more than having here than Frank Solich. And for a lot of reasons, which I'll outline here briefly. And so I'm just glad that he consented to come back and we're able to work it in the schedule. Frank told me he's 74 now, and he's now the oldest Division I head football coach in Division I athletics. And if you think about it, you know, being a head coach, those are dog years. So really, physically, Frank's 160 years old now. And I'd say he looks pretty good for 160. And, you know, there are some advantages to getting older. And I heard about this one guy who was 110. And somebody in the press decided they ought to go out and interview him. And so the reporter asked the guy, he said, what's the best thing you think about being 110 years old? And the guy thought a minute, and he said, well, he said, there's really not much peer pressure anymore. And that's the way it is with Frank and me now. There's much peer pressure anymore. But we're delighted he could come here. And I'd just like to trace a few things. I remember Frank's first recruiting trip at Nebraska. He and Mike Worley came out, and remember his playing career, rushing for 200 yards against Air Force. And he was a great player. He was one of the first guys we ever had who lifted weights. In those days, it was supposed to make you muscle bound. And Frank was an avid weightlifter, and so he was kind of ahead of his time there. And then he had a good, very good high school coaching record. And he took a chance because he had a good job at Southeast. He'd won some state championships, and offered him a chance to come and to be a graduate assistant. If you think about it, when you're married and you got a family, that's a big jump because you're not getting paid much, and there's absolutely no guarantee that anything good's going to happen. And so he took that chance, and he came. And some of the best coaches I had were former high school coaches like Milt Tenneper and Frank and Dan Young. And Frank and I were talking about tonight, we were playing this game down in the Fiesta Bowl against Florida. Pretty big game because it's for the national championship. And we had a meeting, and we were looking at film. And I started running it back and forth, and something that had to do with kicking. So I asked Dan, I said, Dan, what do you think about that? Silence. I said, Dan, and I called his name 2 or 3 or 4 times, and no answer. And finally somebody had to tell me that Dan was with the coaches' wives taking a tour over the Grand Canyon. And so Dan was a little different. But Frank never missed a meeting. That wasn't his deal. And so He was with me for 19 years, and sometimes, people make a big deal out of head coaches. And your head coaches are no better than their assistants, and I had a great staff. And Frank was a great assistant. He sent him back to New Jersey, which is a different world. And he got Mike Rozier, Irving Fryer. Nobody was really looking at him very much. And they turned out to be pretty good players. They're both #1 picks in the draft. And the Peter brothers, and Eric Crouch, and Mike Kroll's here tonight, and on and on. Great recruiter, great guy in terms of fundamentals. We didn't have many fumbles, and great on-the-field coach, and great organizational skills. So I felt very comfortable having him take over, and really proud to have him be the next Nebraska coach. So if you think about it, I'd just like to mention a couple things. Frank had a better winning percentage at Nebraska than Bobby Bowden or Joe Paterno, and about the same as Woody Hayes and Bear Bryant. So pretty fast company. And so he accomplished a lot there, conference championship, came within a whisker of an undefeated season, played for a national championship, went to a bowl game every year, and I think in retrospect, most people would say that's pretty good. And we'd settle for that, right? And so he did some great things. But then I think the real measure of his worth has been at Ohio, because he went to a place that was fairly much flat on its back, and had been to one bowl game, I think, in the history of the school. And now he's been to 10 bowl games. And if you can win 8 or 9 games at Ohio, that's probably like winning 10 or 11 or 12 at a major school, because you don't have to play Ohio State and Penn State and games that you're having to play for money. And so he's really done an amazing job there and has really transformed that program. So he's a very worthy guy, and we're really proud to have him here. And the thing about Frank was that he understood what needed to be done here. He appreciated walk-ons. He understood about developing talent. It's not pro football where you can get on the waiver wire. And so you have to develop talent. You have to guard your home state. You have to have a great relationship with high school coaches. You have to make sure that nobody in this state gets away from you, if at all possible. And you have to have an identity. And he understood that. And so we always had a very physical identity. So, again, he did a lot of great things. And the thing I feel really good about Scott is that Scott understands the things that Frank understood and the things that needed to be done in a place like Nebraska over a lot of years. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you a guy that's really a great person, a great coach, and somebody very deserving of having you welcome him back. So, Frank, come on up here. And I think I can find a trophy here somewhere for you.
Thank you. Certainly, I like the introduction, except for the age part. I knew better than to follow Coach Osborne, but I did it. Here I had no choice. I have to follow him. Great speaker. But he's been a special man to many people, and certainly a special man to me. Anytime you work under a guy for 19 years, you start to understand the fabric of the guy and know what he's all about. And he's not only helped many, many players move forward, he's helped a ton of coaches move forward. The award is very special to me. Getting to come back here is special. I want to congratulate Quinnen on the award, the Outland, and certainly well-deserved. I had a chance to follow you in the playoff game. I had a chance to follow you in the championship game. Great job by you in both games. You're a great athlete, and I'm sure you're going to have a great career in the NFL. So, but one other thing I want you to know, I was able to obtain some more Alabama film. When you're in the business as long as I've been, you're able to get some things done. So just don't tell Coach Saban. But I did get a chance to watch you on a lot of other films, and the award is certainly well deserved, my man. So congratulations. Would also like to congratulate the Nebraska Award winners, Stanley, Devine, and Mick. You know, what a great honor, as you could see by what was telecast up here. Those awards are associated with some great Cornhuskers, and so I know you feel very good about what the awards that you've gotten here, and you ought to, because those guys were tremendous. And there's so many people for me to thank. I don't know quite where to begin. Otherwise, I'm going to begin with my family, which makes obviously a lot of sense. But my wife Pam, our daughter Cindy, and her husband John. You look at Catherine's right here, Aaron's right here, and Jacob's right here, and our son Jeff and his wife Shara and Cade. You know, the coaching business and the profession can be tough on the family. So I certainly appreciate and I'm grateful for what they've been all about in terms of helping me get through my career. Friends, I don't know how many friendships I renewed during these last 2 days. You know, David Sokol, Jack Stark put together a dinner last night. They had 5 running backs at the dinner where they invited 5 guys, and we just had a chance to sit back and tell some stories. So that was unique and tremendous for me. Former players, as I mentioned, you look at former teammates. We snuck out also last night. About 13 of us went out, guys that I played with, and had a great time, told a lot of stories, you know, expanded the truth of those stories probably quite a bit, but what a great opportunity to get together with guys that I played with, went to school with back in the 60s here at Nebraska. You know, also making the trip, John Steinbrecher is our commissioner of the Mid-American Conference. We'd like to recognize John. He's sitting right down here with his wife, Ann. And Jim Schaus, our athletic director. I think we've been together about 9 years, Jim, and he made the trip also. I appreciate all the support I've gotten from Jim over the years. Jimmy Burrow is here also, made the trip. Jimmy's our defensive coordinator, and most people in the coaching profession recognize him as our defensive coordinator. But Athens, he's recognized as the son of Joey Burrow, the starting quarterback at LSU. But he has done a tremendous job. He and Tim Albin have been the coordinators in our program for all 14 years that I've been there. And that's pretty unique to have that be the case. In fact, it's the only school in the country that has had the same coordinators for the last 14 years. So they've been special to me. You heard Coach talk about how important the assistant coaches are. I've been fortunate to be involved with great coaches. I was with great coaches under Tom, and with great coaches at all the schools that I've been at. So I've been able to surround myself with good people, and that's the way to, I think, give yourself the best chance to make things work well. I've been fortunate to have played under Bob Devine and coached with Tom Osborne, 2 national champion coaches. Both guys, Hall of Fame coaches, different personalities. Those that know Bob and know Tom know there's complete different personalities, different styles, but tremendously successful. There was a lesson there for me. Don't try to be somebody you're not. Learn from Tom and Bob. Take from Tom and Bob, but be yourself. And that's what I've tried to do as I've worked through the coaching profession. I've also been really fortunate to have coached for 52 years and really have only moved twice. After graduating from the University of Nebraska, I went 60 miles up the road to Omaha, coached 2 years there at Omaha Holy Name, and then come back 60 miles to Southeast High School, and obviously stayed in Lincoln when got a chance to, and it wasn't called grad assistance back then, Coach. It was called part-time coach, which meant part-time money, you know. But in all honesty, one of the greatest times of my life, obviously, being under Tom. And then 14 years 25 years there, really, and then 14 years at Ohio University. 3 of those were building jobs. Guess which one wasn't? Yeah, Nebraska was not a building job when we took over, okay? Should have really, again, known better than to follow in Tom's footsteps. The thing I found out in coaching at those 4 schools, that the kids at Holy Name, a Class B school, wanted to win every bit as much as the kids at Southeast High School, which is a Class A school. The kids at Ohio University want to win every bit as much as the players from Nebraska. And that's all I need to do is to be around kids that are dedicated and want to maximize their abilities on the football field in the classroom. If I'm doing that, I feel pretty good about my life. A couple other things, and then I'll get done here. But our first year at Ohio University, there was a player named Dion Byram. He actually became an All-American at Ohio University as a defensive back. But he came up to me and he said, "Coach, thank you for making us feel like we belong to a Division I program." You don't know how much that meant to me to hear him say that. I wouldn't trade that for anything. I love what I'm doing. Scott, I want to wish you the very best. I think you're the right guy for the job. I love your makeup in terms of what you're all about. You'll be a great recruiter. You'll handle your staff really well. Your players will love playing for you. That adds up to success, buddy. So I'm wishing you the best. One other thing, I just want to mention George Sullivan, who was a trainer for us, a head trainer, a great guy. Just passed away here a little while ago. And when I think of memories, I think of everything. Memories with the coaches, memories with the players, but I also think about memories with George Sullivan. A great guy, a great person. So I guess what I'm saying is I got nothing but great memories about Nebraska. Thank you.
Mentioned that the Downtown Rotary Club has been a big part of our celebrations here over the last 22 years, and at this time I want to bring up Tim Cavanaugh, past president of the Rotary, to continue our program. Tim?
Welcome home 7, welcome home 45. Glad to have you back. Congratulations to all the winners tonight. Rotary International is the world's largest service organization with over 1.2 million members all over the globe. Even though local clubs engage in local goodwill activities to aid the communities where we live, All clubs worldwide have engaged in the pursuit of eradicating the polio virus from the face of the earth. By partnering with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, we are very close to realizing that long-term goal. Polio is endemic in only 3 countries now: Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Nigeria. As stated, we are very active in the Omaha community. We're also a longtime College World Series host service club, Salvation Army bell ringers, and you may have heard about our downtown Rotary's 8th grade honor roll program. This year will be our 92nd annual event. 21 years ago, the Rotary Club of Omaha realized that from 1946 through 1989, the Outland Trophy winners did not actually receive a real trophy for their achievement. Instead, winners were mailed a framed award, a piece of paper. With our local passion for college football and the proud Nebraska tradition of producing exceptional linemen, this was an injustice that had to be corrected. 2 club members, the late Bob Mancuso and Jim Murphy, started the Rotary tradition of honoring a previous winner each year with an authentic Outland trophy. Retired General Jim Murphy is with us tonight somewhere. Jim, can you stand up and be recognized? Where is he? As past president of the Rotary Club of Omaha and a football fan, I'm exceptionally proud that we've been able to present trophies to former players who won the award. But we also were able to present the trophies to the first 3 winners before they passed away. George Connor of Notre Dame, 1946. Joe Steffi of Army, 1947. And Bill Fisher of Notre Dame, 1948. Tonight's honoree holds the Boston College record for sacks and who ended up with over 300 career tackles. And I'll tell you, I'll respect anyone who could toss Bernie Kosar around in the original Hail Mary game against Miami. It's now my honor and pleasure on behalf of the Rotary Club of Omaha to present College Football Hall of Famer, the Sultan of Sack, Mike Ruth from Boston College University, with his 1985 Outland Trophy.
Mike Ruth was a dominant force for Boston College in the 1980s. The middle guard for the Eagles became a quarterback's worst nightmare. When Boston College faced the defending national champion BYU, Ruth sacked All-American quarterback Robbie Bosco 4 times.
He's as strong as a player that I've ever played against, that's been on the defensive side of the ball. And, he's very quick and, he moves to the ball very well.
Ruth was a consensus first-team All-American in 1985. He led the Eagles to 3 bowl games, including a victory in the Cotton Bowl against Houston. Boston College finished the season ranked 5th in the nation. Ruth was a 3-time All-East selection and led the Eagles to back-to-back Lambert trophies as the best FBS team in the East in 1983 and 1984. Ruth amassed 344 tackles, 29 sacks, 7 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries during his career. In 1986, he received Boston College's highest athletic honor when he was named the Eagle of the Year. His number 68 jersey was retired by Boston College. Ruth was drafted in the 2nd round of the 1986 NFL Draft by the New England Patriots and spent 2 years with the franchise. In 2017, Ruth was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Boston College's Mike Ruth, the winner of the 1985 Outland Trophy.
We're so thrilled that Boston College sent us a representative to say a few words about Mike. So please welcome Barry Gallup, the Senior Associate Athletic Director at Boston College.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to say it's great to be here tonight. I've been at Boston College for over 40 years as a player, assistant coach, and administrator. Been to a lot of events, National Football Foundation dinner, when Mike was inducted. And I'll be at the Walter Camp dinner, All-American dinner on Saturday. But to see an event like this with the passion of the Nebraska family is unbelievable. I love Boston College, but, we're in a city of Boston with 4 pro sports teams. And to see the big red spirit, we've never had the privilege to play in Nebraska. And Scott, I'm not suggesting we schedule a game. But I just want to say, Quinnen, congratulations on your award. Mike did beat Alabama twice when we played them. Alabama wasn't as good as they are today. We've retired 2 numbers at Boston College, Mike Ruth and Doug Flutie, and they played together. And after watching that tape, we had to tell Mike every day in practice, don't hit the quarterback. That'd be like telling him he can't eat lunch. And, to see these awards, the one thing I will say, Quinn, when with awards come responsibility. And to see the Nebraska football family, to see an alumnus as the head coach, to see Coach Osborne, who's a legend, and to see Frank Solich, 3 football coaches being honored here today is just unbelievable. I have so much respect for Frank Solich. I've known him a little bit. 14 years ago when he got the Ohio job, I sent him a note and wished him the best of luck. And he called me a week later. That's the kind of classy person he is. We play a lot of MAC teams. We usually play one every year. We're not going to play Ohio University, I guarantee that. But, Mike was a good football player. But he was a better person. One quick football story involving Doug Flutie. We are playing Miami in that Miracle in Miami game. With a minute to go in the game, we're leading 41-38. They have the ball on the 5-yard line, and Miami called a timeout with Bernie Kosar. Doug comes up to me and says, Coach, let him score. I said, what do you mean let him score? Just give me the ball back with a little bit of time. I said, you tell Mike Ruth to let him score. Well, Mike, thanks. They scored the next play anyway, so it didn't really matter. But, Mike had some injuries, wasn't able to continue in professional football. At one point, you read the program, and he said he was going to be a minister. They couldn't find the collar probably big enough for him. Mike went on, and, he had some personal challenge, and he overcame those personal challenges. And 2 years ago, when he was inducted in the National Football Foundation, we had a campus salute. And to see the people that came back that knew Mike, Mike is now currently a teacher and coach and role model at Everett High School, one of the top public high schools in Massachusetts, but in a tough area. And Mike has been a tremendous role model. 2 years ago, we retired Matt Ryan and Luke Kuechly's jersey, not their numbers, their jerseys, and we asked Mike to be on the field with them. And to see the way that Matt and Luke looked and respected Mike. And that's what I see about the Nebraska football family. So I stand here thanking the football family for including Mike Ruth in Boston College. The linemen are the unsung heroes, and to be able to see you recognize somebody like Mike Ruth really means a lot to Boston College. We will bring that trophy back, and I wish everyone the best of luck. Thank you very much.
Well, I think that's enough to be said here and get to our other award winners. But thank you very much. It's been a wonderful reception. After I explained to Coach where Massachusetts was, I had little pictures of Pilgrims, the Mayflower, first Thanksgiving. He said, yep, they play tackle football up there. It was a great thing. But thank you guys. This is the heart of football, and it means so much to so many people all over the country. You'll never know it, But this is what we show the kids up in Boston, you know, the Nebraskas, the Texas, the Alabamas, the Clemsons. I mean, you hold it down for the entire country, and you ought to congratulate yourselves.
Steve Richardson earlier talked about that we have a national sponsor now for the Outland Trophy, and that is the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases. At this time, I would like to bring up their president, Dr. Joseph Bachi, to come up here. Dr. Bachi, come up, please. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. I want to just start off by saying that the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases is very pleased and honored this year to partner with the Football Writers Association of America to present the 2018 Outland Trophy, one of college football's most prestigious awards, to the best interior lineman in college football. NFID created this partnership because it's a perfect way for us to raise awareness about the importance of the prevention of influenza, or flu as it's commonly called, which is a serious and often too fatal deadly virus that causes millions of infections annually in the United States. Each year, an average of 20% of the U.S. population, 1 in 5 people, is infected with influenza, with flu. Last year, a particularly bad year for influenza. Over 80,000 people died of influenza, as estimated by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. 184 of those deaths were in children. My area is pediatrics, and so that's particularly important to me as a pediatrician. Flu can cause serious outbreaks, typically in the fall and winter. These outbreaks can occur on college campuses, which can disrupt classes, examinations, sports, and other college-related events. Our shared goal is to remind college football fans in the United States that the best way to prevent flu is to get an annual flu vaccine. Vaccine becomes available right around the time of the initiation of the college football season. I have to thank 2 Outland Trophy awardees for participating in our awareness campaign. The first is Joe Thomas, the 2006 Outland Trophy winner, who served as one of our ambassadors. And the other is Barrett Jones, the 2011 recipient, who will later be giving the award tonight. In addition, our Tackle the Flu ad appeared in game day programs in over 1,200 college football games, including the postseason bowl games, playoff games, national championship game on Monday, as well as NFL and NBA team yearbooks. And in fact, on page 4 of your program tonight, you have a copy of the ad. NFID was established in 1973 with a mission to educate the public and healthcare professionals about infectious diseases across the lifespan and how to prevent and treat them so we can all live healthier lives. The 2018-19 flu season has really just begun. I was watching the news last night, and it was clear that the press is reporting that there's influenza in the Omaha area, and it's already caused a few deaths. And influenza is a long season. We don't know when it peaks, but it's certainly going to affect many individuals. Again, the important way to prevent flu is to get the flu vaccine. At the Golden Globes, they gave out flu vaccines. We were going to do that tonight, but we decided that since they already done that, then perhaps we should not go there. Just in closing, I think I've heard that the best offense is a good defense. I think that applies to football. And I think that for preventing flu, it's to get the flu vaccine. That's your best defense. So once again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to participate and to sponsor this award. I want to specifically congratulate Quinnen for his award, and thank you for the opportunity to participate and be a sponsor for this outstanding award. So thank you.
The doctor mentioned that one of their ambassadors is a former winner of the Outland Trophy. Let's welcome back to the podium Barrett Jones. Barrett, come on up here.
Good evening. I don't know if they do this anymore, but when I won the Outland Trophy, they handed me this big certificate and made this big deal out of it that I was an official admiral of the Navy of Nebraska. And I just want to let you guys know that I sat by my phone for like the first 4 years. I was just waiting for the Navy to be assembled, but that day never came. And so I don't know what happened. I guess y'all don't have a need for a Navy because I was ready to lead you guys into battle. Excited to be here tonight. A lot of people to thank, especially want to thank the NFID for their sponsorship and making all this happen. Look, I love the Outland Trophy. I think it's a fantastic award. More importantly, I love coming back here. I love talking with you guys. I think the vibe I get when I come back here is that you guys really appreciate the play in the trenches. I mean, y'all really get it and you understand the importance of it. And I guess if I can just say one thing that I'm noticing is I feel like it's really catching on nationwide, that the average football fan is really starting to understand and appreciate that the game really does start in the trenches. And I know football has really changed a lot over the last really 20 or 30 years, really even the last 10 years, where now we see so many spread formations. But think about this year in the college football playoff, the 4 teams that played in the playoff, right? You had Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, and Notre Dame. All 4 of those teams had top 10 offensive lines, right? And 3 of those 4 teams had top 10 defensive lines. Sorry, Oklahoma, they had a terrible defense. But 3 of the 4, so that's 7 out of those 8 units that were in the top 10 of their position group. That's not by accident, right? It matters what happens in the trenches. I think that's, you'll hear from Quinnen here in a second. Obviously, Coach Saban understands that. This is now the 5th Alabama player in the last 20 years to win this award. Pretty cool. I know that Nebraska leads with 9. Yes, I read the program, but we're coming for you guys. All right, so y'all better buckle up. No, this place absolutely. Nebraska obviously has a rich tradition and history, but I think Alabama takes a lot of pride too in really grinding it out in the trenches. Obviously with Chris Samuels, Andre Smith, myself, Cam Robinson, and now Quinnen. It's a really, really cool tradition of kind of what's evolved here. So I just want to, before I leave, just tell you briefly about Quinnen. I don't know how much film and tape you guys got to watch of Quinnen this year. I work for ESPN, so I get to watch quite a bit of tape. And if you haven't seen Quinnen play, there's really 2 things that you should know about him, and maybe they'll show some highlights of him. But the guy, number one, has one of the most explosive get-offs I've seen on the inside in a long time. He's very, very explosive at the point of attack. He's very, very tough to get your hands on. When I see Quinnen play, he makes me so glad that I'm no longer playing because I don't have to block him. And the second thing is, man, he really, really uses his hands well. He is able to shock people at the point of attack and really get rid of defenders. I've not seen one person successfully block Quinnen for probably more than 2 to 3 seconds because of the way he uses his hands. So he's extremely well deserving of this award, and big congratulations to him tonight. So thanks for having me back.
Barrett with a great tee-up. Let's take a look at Quinnen.
On behalf of the Football Writers Association of America, it is my honor to introduce the 73rd winner of the Outland Trophy. Quinnen Williams, University of Alabama.
Quinnen Williams is the 5th player from Alabama to win the Outland Trophy. He's also a finalist for the Bednarik Award.
Quinnen Williams made a huge impact in 2018. The Alabama nose tackle was a stopper up the middle for the Crimson Tide.
His health, there's a look at Quinnen Williams, one of the top players in the country, could wreck this entire Oklahoma package in the middle of that defense. You're talking about a guy who has come on this year to be one of the best defensive players in the country. Very slippery, 6'4", 290 pounds. He's the modern era inside defensive tackle where he uses quickness like an Aaron Donald with the LA Rams to get around people. He's not that big old Alabama 340, 350-pound guy that's eating up space. He's athletic in the middle.
Despite being double-teamed most of the time in the line, Williams registered 66 tackles. 18 of those were for losses of 85 yards.
Quinnen Williams right here just disrupts the play. In fact, he puts the left guard, Ben Powers, on his back.
The 6'4", 295-pound redshirt sophomore has been responsible for 11 quarterback hurries, 8 sacks, and a pass breakup this past season. Williams became the best interior lineman in college football and helped lead the Crimson Tide to the national championship game. Congratulations to Alabama's Quinnen Williams, this year's Outland Trophy winner.
We're thrilled to have Josh Chapman, who's the assistant strength and conditioning coach at Alabama, be able to be in town tonight and tell us a little bit more about this year's Outland Trophy winner. Josh, I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening, good evening. On behalf of Coach Saban, University of Alabama, appreciate you guys for having us. Well, take it back about 3 years ago, we got a kid from Birmingham, Alabama, which is where I'm from. I had a kid here who I was ready to send back to Birmingham, Alabama, because he reminded me of myself how I used to run 110s, work out. Man, it was hard on us. And then for you get a kid who come to a school like University of Alabama where we have a lot of players who's playing, and to sit back and take a red shirt year, man, this kid took time to better his craft, to watch John Allen, Deron Payne play the game, man. It's something special to me because I got a chance to work with the kid after my years in the NFL, but take a guy like Barry Jones, I went against him, and that's a great Outland winner himself, and to be able to coach a great kid like Quinnen Williams, I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean, the guys are dominating the game, especially from the nose tackle position. I played nose tackle. I made probably 5 tackles. I just held up the run. Well, he took that and ran away with it. But, man, we're proud of you, man, and the sky's the limit, my brother. I'm just honored to be here in Omaha. It's my first time being here, and it changed my mind like whole. But I thought Omaha was just like number grass and things like that. But it's amazing to be here, man. I'm just thankful to be on the list with those guys like Aaron Donner and Cam Robinson and Barry Jones, man. And I'm just honored to be a part of a program like Alabama, who got coaches like Coach Chapman, who take the time out to see a guy like me who's struggling at everything, coming to the SEC and struggling at everything that I did, and just take time with me and build me and make me become the player at the end of the day. And I just want to thank these coaches sitting next to me, because they legends, man. I just learned a lot about them, and they just inspire me to become a better person, everything I do. So thank you.
There he is, the 73rd winner of the Outland Trophy. Quinnen Williams, great to have you here tonight. Quinnen, congratulations again. Mike, great to have you in Omaha. I'm glad we're able to properly get you that trophy. Hope you find a spot for it back in Massachusetts. Coach Solich, amazing. Please come back, would you? Great to have Coach Solich back with us here in Omaha tonight. Congratulations to Mick and Stanley and Devine, who's not here with us tonight. But congratulations. It's been a pleasure to watch you guys grow and develop the last couple of years. Thank you so much. Thanks to the Omaha Sports Commission, to Werner Enterprises for sponsoring our dinner tonight. Be careful going home. Thank you very much. Good night.